Good morning and welcome to another tutorial video with Cosmos Crochet Corner. Today we are going to demonstrate the skill of creating a single crochet and working in rows. In order to do that, we need to start off by making a slip knot and then chaining 11 chains. By now you should have mastered these two skills. If you're still struggling, go and practice a little bit more before you carry on with this video. So that's our slip knot. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and 11. The first 10 chains that we made are for the single crochets to go in. The 11th or last chain that we made is to give the correct height for a single crochet. Now you'll notice this is the loop that's actually on the hook at the moment. This is the first V after the hook, that's stitch number 11. This is the second V after the hook, that's stitch number 10. When we start on a chain, you always want to start in the second chain from the hook, so the second V from the hook. So what we're going to do for the first stitch is you're going to take your hook and you're going to insert it into the V there. So now you've got your loop on the hook and you've got the V on the hook. Once you've inserted it, you're going to go under the yarn, you're going to hook the yarn, and you're going to pull the yarn back through the V stitch only. This will actually give you 2 loops on your hook. At this point, you want to hook the yarn again and pull through both loops. That completes your first single crochet stitch. You'll see your V stitch has now opened up a bit, creating a gap. That's how you can tell that that's the stitch that you've already worked in. For your next single crochet, you want to go into the following V stitch over there that's still nice and closed. So again, you're going to go through the V, you hook the yarn, you pull it back through the V so that you've got 2 loops on your hook, you hook the yarn, you pull through both loops. That's your second single crochet. Then you go through the next V, hook the yarn, back through the next V, 2 loops on your hook, hook the yarn again and pull through both loops. Each time you'll notice at the end of a stitch I push my hook back forward again before I go through the V, hook the yarn, pull it back through the V. Notice I push my hook forward once I've got those 2 loops on the hook. Hook the yarn, pull back through both loops. Push my hook forward again. Then we go through the V, hook the yarn, back through the V, 2 loops. Hook the yarn, pull through both loops. Moving on to the next stitch. For each one you want to make sure you're always moving on to the next stitch. You only want to make 1 single crochet stitch in each chain stitch that you had. So you don't want to go into the same one twice. So always check where your opening is. You can see there it's a big opening, so you've already worked there. So you go to your next V stitch, through the stitch, hook the yarn, pull back through the stitch, 2 loops. Hook the yarn, pull through both loops. Next stitch, through the stitch, hook the yarn, back through the stitch, 2 loops on your hook, hook the yarn, pull through both loops. Go to the next stitch, through the V stitch, hook the yarn, pull back through the V stitch, push forward your hook, and you'll notice you've got 2 loops on your hook, hook the yarn, pull through both loops. Then we're going to do our 9th one. Go through, hook the yarn, pull back, 2 loops, hook the yarn, pull through both loops. And then number 10 is our final stitch for this row. So we go through the loop, the V, hook the yarn, pull back through the V, so that we've got 2 loops, hook the yarn and pull through both loops. That brings us to the end of our row. Now if you look at the top of a row, you will notice that a new line of V stitches have formed. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and here where we started, number 10. So those are your 10 single crochets, and that's the top part. As you can see, we are at the end of our round. It is now time to turn our work over. However, before we can turn our work over, we need to create a chain stitch to give us the height of a single crochet. So we simply do 1 chain stitch, and then we can turn our work over. Now if you look at your work once you've turned it, you'll see you've got the loop on your hook, you've got your first V, which is the chain stitch you just made, and then you've got your second V, which is the stitch you want to work into. Now at this point, how you insert your hook changes. When it was chain stitches, we used to go in between the 2 loops like that. This loop here, the one that's on the hook now, that's called your back loop because it's furthest away from you. This loop of a V here, closest to your body, that one there, is called the front loop because it's closest to your body. Now, in order for your single crochets to look right and to have a correct tension, you want to insert your hook underneath both of those V's, those loops of the V. So the entire V needs to be on your hook. So we start not in the first V, but in the second V. We go under the V, hook the yarn, pull it back under the V, 2 loops, hook the yarn, pull through both loops. And that is our first single crochet finished. When you move, see there, you've gone through already. That's your stitch, it's a big hole. Your next one is here. So you go under the V, hook the yarn, pull back, 2 loops, hook the yarn, pull through both loops. Next stitch, under the V, hook the yarn, pull back, 2 loops, hook the yarn, pull through both loops. And we carry on doing this stitch by stitch, keeping track. Now it's important that you make 10 single crochets in this round because you made 10 in the previous one, and if you want to stay the same size, you need to stay with the count. So far we've made 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. You can see that's V1, V2, V3, V4 and V5. So we've got 5 more to do. So we do number 6, under the V, pull back through the V, hook the yarn, pull through both loops. Under the V, hook the yarn, there we go, pull back, hook through both. And we're doing number 8, number 9, and then our last one. You'll always find that the last one's a little bit harder to get into than the rest. That's normal. That does tend to pull tighter. So you go under your V, hook your yarn, pull it back through the V, 2 loops, hook the yarn, pull through both. Now if you would like to make more rows, you can simply chain 1, turn your work and repeat the process. When you get to the end, chain 1, turn your work and repeat the process. Practice this until you become comfortable with making a single crochet stitch before moving on. Good luck with your practice.